Hey guys, Chris here. I'm here with a deck tech for a Bant mid-range Vannifar deck. Hopefully this works. This is my first attempt at recording a YouTube video. As you can see, we have 8 mana creatures to give you a bit of acceleration because the curve is a little high, quite heavy at 4 and 5. You also have some sort of utility creatures at all points of the curve. Fibblethip is literally just here to draw cards. Tithe Taker is a nice one to pod away because you get the spirit token and it's slightly disruptive. The deputies and knights are our interaction, our removal package. We have buglers for card advantage, Shalais for protection, and it's quite a common play pattern against a control deck is to try to spark double your Shalai, and if you manage to pull that off, you usually win. You're very insulated at that point. The elite guard mages, similar to the buglers, are card advantage. District Guide is just a one-of because sometimes you really need a land. We do play a couple of basics to go with it. The Vannifars are obviously the key card of the deck. You use them to basically chain up mana costs and generate value each time. It's not like the old Birthing Pod decks where you have a combo kill. There is no instant win here. It's just a mid-range value engine. Spark doubles go really well with all of our creatures, in particular the legendary creatures. Obviously, typically being legendary for a reason, being able to have a second copy of them is nice. So, second God Eternal of Ketra, second Trostani, second Shalai. Tolsamir is great tutorable removal. The Cavalier is a little bit like the Tithe Taker in that you benefit from it dying. Well, you don't necessarily benefit, but you get 2 tokens from it dying, so it's not too bad. The Battlement might look terrible because it is a totally awful magic card, but being able to rebuy all of your ETB effects is really nice. You also have... Sorry, one moment. I'm failing at computers. You also have... because you only rebuy the ETBs when it dies, I was kind of priced into including a 6, even though I couldn't really find a particularly good 6. And the one I've gone for is the Loxodon Life Chanter, which is basically a massive life gain spell that kind of threatens enormous amounts of damage, but not really because it doesn't have trample or evasion. So it's a little underwhelming, but potentially I would like to upgrade that at some point, but I can't find a better 6 in standard at the moment. Then we're playing 21 lands, which is maybe 1 or 2 too few, but I think with the 8 mana sources, it's usually about right. The sideboard honestly won't probably come up because I usually play best of 1, but the idea is you've just got Teferis for insulation, counter magic, and then like Vivians and Hydroid Krasis for mid-range mirrors where you want to go over the top. Anyway, I hope that that's explained the deck fairly well. Obviously, we're going to take it for some games now and see how we do. Okay, we're about to go into our first match with Bant Vannifar. Not doing an event of any kind, so it will just be a series of about 5 games. Hopefully we'll play against diverse opponents and you can see the almost exclusively bad matchups that we face because, you know, deck is bad. But it is, at the very least, fun. I am going to pilot it to the best of my abilities, which are not that great. So, you know, don't be expecting Galaxy Brain plays or, you know, pro-level stuff. I think on the draw, this is a bit sketchy because we only have 2 mana sources and most of our hand costs 4. I think I'm going to throw this one back. This looks a little better. In terms of what to throw back, it'll probably be the Deputy. Everything else here is a little bit more necessary, although not having any interaction could come back to bite us. It's nice to have a 3rd land. Drawing both our basics is a bit sucky because although Settle and Field of Ruin are not very common at the moment, we do have a what's the word I'm looking for? District Guide in the deck, and being able to fetch one with a district guide is occasionally necessary. Opponent obviously thinks they've stitched us up, but we only had a 2-drop anyway, so the joke's on them. I assume this is the Simic Flash deck, so we've got the big scary dinosaur guy to look out for. I don't think I want to block because I need white mana next turn and the fortress comes with a tap. I'm going to play this tapped and just play a Shalai and hope they don't counter it, although they probably have some counter magic. Yeah, fair enough. Couldn't really play around that. We just got to run our stuff into it because their whole deck has flash, so they're not going to tap out. We just have to hope they don't have stuff. They can't always have it, can they? I'm going to go for the Bugler, I think, because it might allow us to double spell. If it resolves, of course. We'll have 3 mana up, which means we can cast probably 50% of our hits. If they do. Okay, so they chose to counter that, fair enough. I think I would have done the same in their position. I'm probably just going to attack with the Druid, because I don't mind trading, and we've got plenty of mana at this point. We've drawn almost exclusively lands. Not complaining. That would be petty and childish, and I'm not like that. Their deck has some pretty powerful stuff at sort of 4 mana and above. They've got the, I forget the name of it, the Werewolf with Flash. It's pretty intimidating. I'm going to try and bait it by attacking with the Druid. And then hopefully they'll play a blocker, eat the Druid. Okay, they obviously are pretty smart, or at least not a child. I'll play the Cavalier because Lyra, I think we might need the life gain to race, and I'm hoping we're going to run them out of counters eventually. Okay. Fair enough, opponent. I can live with that, I think. Just pass turn. I'm not sure how good Unsummon is. I think card disadvantage is not my bag, but I think we just have to go for this. They probably have one more counter, but yeah. We've got some blockers at least. We can try and trade our Druid for their Mystic. At least if they are countering our spells, they're not putting more threats on the board themselves. We go for this. Take 2. I assume this will resolve. Do it as a test spell. And we'll go for this as well. It's unlikely to resolve based on past experiences. Hey, happy days. The life gain is nice. We're not going to attack. We're going to potentially play around the second Merfolk Trickster. Okay. Hopefully we're going to get to make some blocks. I'm not sure what they're going to do. They'll probably just send that. I think we triple block it and just hope to God that they don't have an unsummon and blow us out. Because if they get to the end step with this, they start creating wolves. Okay, that's pretty bad. If I am just dead. Good game, opponent. Well played. Yeah, the second ambusher was pretty savage, and I don't think we could ever beat that. that was an example of how lots of games with this deck go, where you lose because your deck isn't very good, even if you play fine-ish. So you've got that to look forward to if you decide to pilot this wonderful deck. I'm going to keep this hand. Generally hands with mana accelerants are pretty good. The scenario where we draw a third land and play a Vannifar on turn 3, those are the games we usually win. So hopefully that's going to happen. I'm not looking to make any trades with the bodyguard yet. That's if we don't hit a third land, we still get to play a 2/3, which is really good against most of the sort of white weenie decks. Although I'm not sure, I've not seen a green variant of white weenie, so I'm not quite sure what we're up against. But yeah, Dauntless Bodyguard signifies a white weenie deck of some kind. Okay, well, luckily we drew the land, so we played a Vannifar, and hopefully we can just kind of get an incremental advantage every turn from it. So the opponent's going to get in for 4 with this, which is slightly troubling, but I think after that we probably won't have to take any more hits from it. No. So Deputy against token decks is really good. The tokens go away forever, which is obviously desirable. So look at those two. And then I'm going to pod the Deputy into a 4. It'll probably just be an Elite Guard Mage. Making sure I'm not missing anything. The Elite Guard Mage is fine. Life gain and card draw are things we want, especially in matchups where we're getting beaten down by 4/4s. I'm not going to attack because in a perfect world where they don't have another sapling migration, I trade it. I trade these for that, and in a world where they do have another sapling migration, I might even end up chumping. I guess History Benalia would be the worst thing they could have here. Perfect. That's good. Looks like we might be chump blocking with the Druid, but that's fine. We're alright with that. I think the plan at this point is to knight the history. And now I've got a choice. I can either get a 4 or a 5. So if I get a 5, it would probably be something like Tulsamir to fight. Or I could get a Trostani to have big blockers and tokens with lifelink. Or... yeah, I think a 5 is better. So I'm going to pod the Guard Mage. I think I'm going to get the Tulsamir. And I'm going to fight the token. And pass. So, as you can see, the games where Vannifar doesn't die, you get to have goodish turns nearly every turn, keep the cards flowing, keep the, build a bigger and bigger board. That obviously looks fairly threatening, but remember that if we deputy it, it will shrink back down, so we can just throw something under it and then deputy it later. Probably just chump block. The Night Vorten's done some good work. Fibblethip is a perfect draw because we can pod it into 3, namely Deputy. And then 9/9 becomes 2/2 again, even if they manage to kill our deputy, so it's far less threatening. I'm going to go to combat with both my 3/3s, offers them some trades. They can trade off a load of tokens if they wish. Not too worried about that. And then I'm going to play the Conclave Cavalier to hopefully just shore up the ground. They don't have any good attacks at present. They would lose the bodyguard and a token, and we'd only take 3, so this looks fine for us. Their best play is probably to tribunal this. We're looking safe-ish. I don't know, they could still have tribunal because of the convoke mechanic, allowing them to pay for it with only 1 land. No, we're looking good. So I think now... Okay, I was about to try to kill the Marshal by copying the Tulsimir. And if you do copy the Tulsimir, you trigger the wolf fight twice. And if the first fight they have a creature with power less than 3, the wolf survives. So we could fight a sapling and then fight the Marshal and kill 2 things. That'd be pretty cool. Either way, obviously good to get our first win on the board. So we are at 1-1 now. So that's, you know, it's about the pinnacle with 4 copies of Vannifar in your deck. Obviously I'm quite disparaging, but I actually do really like this deck. It's fun, it's by no means, you know, tournament threatening, but it's good enough that you can play Arena without the feel bads. It's a fairly shocking first hand. This is far better. We've got a turn 3 Vannifar. I think I'm just going to get rid of the bad card. Can always get it back later if we need it. Opponent's name is splendidly Teutonic. I don't think I could do it justice if I were to try and say it. Hello, opponent. I'm going to just play my Llanowar Elf because that's what they do. Hopefully we will get lucky and draw a 3-drop on turn 2. Although all of our 3-drops apart from District Guide involve white mana, which we don't currently have. I would also not object to drawing white mana. That's a bad draw. I'm going to play that tap and pass. In general, I get walloped by Gruul. I think Gruul is very strong. And I think,
glorious day for some anarchy.
Yeah, that's bad.
Ooh, I revel in devastation.
Yeah, I think their creatures are big enough that my sort of, and they have enough removal that my interaction package just doesn't quite cut it. But still, we're going to try. I think I'm going to, depending on what they do, if they play something pre-combat so they can't adapt, I will trade. But if they haven't played anything pre-combat, I won't block. The reason for being comfortable with trading is we've still got 4 mana, so we can still cast Vannifar next turn. With that said, having no white means Vannifar's not good when your other creatures are stuck in your hand. So, an unusual inclusion, but I guess it makes sense.
Let's get moving.
Okay, yeah, we're not chunk blocking yet, so we will just take 5. This is a fine example of Gruul walloping us. I think I'm going to attack Domri. Cuts them off a bit of mana, saves us 1 damage on the crackback. Hopefully they don't have Lava Coil. Historically, they always have Lava Coil. I don't mind getting like double Lightning Strikes or Lightning Strike and Shock. Getting a 2-for-1 because everyone's scared of Vannifar is quite satisfying.
Ocean surges, life thrives.
Wow, that's a big turn. We're not blocking, so not 100% on how we're getting out of this. It's really awkward. The cards that we've got in hand are really awkward. We can make white. Pod the Druid into a Deputy of Detention and take one of their terrifying things. I think that's the most terrifying. Could be totally wrong. And I can play a Trostani just to give us blockers, including some lifelink. And then we've got half a chance if we get through to the next turn and start playing the Angels. Like, Shalai will be a 4/5, so that holds off the Phoenix well. And Lyra. I mean, we're not dead, but them. Oh dear. No, we just didn't have haste. I think they at least attack with the Phoenix. Well, obviously, we've got no blockers.
I love to make a splash.
Okay. We're not dead. White mana would be nice. Pain-free white mana would be really nice. Okay. I'm more than happy to trade off tokens for that and to gain 4 life. That is grand. It's a lousy draw. We do not a great deal. We have 0 castables because they all require white mana. Our 6 isn't particularly good, so we can't pod that. If we pod that, they get the bear. But the bear will die anyway. So that's probably the most attractive option, is to turn this into a Shalai and have a 4/5 flyer. One of those will have to go away. Game is behaving strangely. I wonder if it's okay. I'm just waiting for it. Or we could get greedy and guard mage looking for a land, but I think we have to have a flying blocker. We certainly aren't attacking. I've just remembered that that buffs their Phoenix, so their Phoenix will actually attack as a 5/4, which is worse for us. This situation is not looking too hot. If they threaten a non, if they send a non-lethal attack, okay. They are not sending a non-lethal attack. That's 15, and I've got 9 toughness, so I do have to block with both. Block like this because I have to get that stupid bear off the board. I'm going to go down to 2. Yeah, not clear on how I don't die. The card advantage Gruul gets is bizarre with the Guardians and stuff, because it's not something you associate with these colours at all, but they grind you into the dust. It's perfect. I can do nothing because if I pay 2 life to have it untapped, we have no life. That was sad. Well done, opponent. So we are 1 and 2 at this point, which is par for the course. Hopefully we can get it Get the 3-2 dream, keep that alive. LibXQ. You're all but dead, mate. Look at this hand. This is perfect. You get the old 3 into 4 on turns 2 and 3. And we're being allowed to do our thing as well, which is miraculous. Nice. If this is like a Wild Growth Walker deck, you know, that general style. Ah, there's a Jund dinosaur deck apparently. I assume this is it. I'm gonna play a Shalai. Yeah, I'm somewhat unfamiliar with Standard, so I don't know exactly what's going on. That doesn't seem great because we've got the option of chump blocking, and I don't mind them discarding cards. I think it's worth the 2 damage to play the Garden Age off of lands and have the option to chump block with this thing. I'm not sure how good this card is. I think it's a bit of a trap. I think discarding a card every turn is such a big cost, and it has no other keywords. Like, it doesn't even have trample to take advantage of the big body. Seems a little underwhelming. This, on the other hand, is a hell of a magic card. That's not bad. But, you know, we could deputy that. We're killing them in the air. They're discarding cards. This is fine. As I said, we can't currently deputy it. That one does have trample, which is kind of good. I think I still have to fight them. I'm going to play Vannifar. Get Temple Garden tapped, and then hopefully next turn we can start using Vannifar to find answers to the dinosaur threats. I'm anticipating chumping here, taking 12 and making a decision about this when we see what they're doing. They're probably going to have a land for the alpha, which makes... yeah. This is quite threatening. I haven't thought it through. I haven't quite considered how bad this position is for us. That's close to lethal. It might actually be lethal. I think they're maybe a bit worried about the crackback if they can't kill us, because they're being a bit cagey. Okay. I don't really have the choice. I have to chump both, I think. Can't make any double blocks. Yeah, this is bad. Okay. Oh, good draw. So this gains us life and makes 2 bodies, and the fight on the 2/3 is perfect. Kill something really good and our thing survives. Obviously I can't attack given that I've got to not die. In fact, we're looking fairly bad on the crackback, but they've got, like, I've got to put 5 toughness in front of this, so that's, you know, two things. We're in trouble. I think if they just send, we're probably dead. I haven't done the maths, but now we're dead. Well, I think we were dead anyway. Our best blocks are something like this. And we take way more than lethal. What's that shield? Well, on the plus side, that dinosaur deck looks fun, and it's something we can play in a week or two. The downside is that the green is dead. We have no more aspirations of a 3-2. Give it one more go. I would like to play against a small creature deck. We tend to hose those. Yeah, big hand. District Guide would be an incredible draw. We need a 3 and we need a land. I'm not going to complain about that. That's a good draw too. It blocks that really well. 2-3 is pretty good against my red. We'll take the Druid. Yeah, stating the obvious. I'm just hoping to draw a land. If we do, we're golden. The red matchup is generally decent. We have plenty of main deck life gain. The Guard Mages, Tolsimir, Lyra, the Knights, they're all pretty great. I've got a decision to make now about whether I play the Druid and hope to untap with it, because if they do cast a Chain Whirler, we are just so unhappy. I'll make this attack first because it seems fairly free. If they want to double block, well, A, it's not lethal, and B, yeah, that's just a lousy block for them. Yeah, I'm going to play this, and obviously not. It won't be tapped because it's summoning sick, so it means it's hexproof. So the only way they can kill it is with a Chain Whirler, but obviously they probably have 4 of those. Okay, that's good. That's good. That's good. This play pattern where they play 2 Steamkins is actually quite a nice one for us because you can deputy them. They're not very threatening when they come back because they lose the counters and stuff. So I'm going to be looking to get a deputy now. We'll take 3. I'm going to be looking to get a deputy of detention here. I hadn't considered that we were about to be stone rained by the Firebrand. That's real bad for us. Yeah. Land is nice. So, I think with that in mind, I'm going to... It's tough. Because Cavalier is great against them. Vannifar is essential, but I don't want them to untap with these because then they can have one of those big turns where they sort of chain light up the stage and mana. And I think for that reason I'm going to play this tapped. I'm going to make a mana. I'm going to Neoform the Druid into a Deputy. And if they do Lightning Strike it, it's denied them a load of mana because these counters effectively just represent red mana. Plus, when you Neoform specifically, the 4th point of toughness is significant against red. They can't skewer it or Lightning Strike it now. They have to like pair one of those spells with a Firebrand or with a Shock or something like that, or even just a Chain Whirler trigger. But it just makes life a bit harder for them. I think that was a reasonable turn for us. Obviously, if we don't draw land now, we're a bit limited because we've only got the Knight of Autumn. Fibblethip's a nice one because he cantrips. I would love a land. Perfect. So I'm just going to attack with the Bugler. I value the Deputy sufficiently highly that the idea of them blocking and then lightning striking or something seems unappealing. So we're going to just try and keep the Deputy going. Obviously, they.
I know. Sit back and watch it burn.
Yeah, they're not doing a great deal. She deals damage to opponent or planeswalker, so it would be damage to me, not to my creatures, which is good. Because I'm hoping the best thing we could possibly draw would be land. We can Tolsimir, eat that, kill Chandra, and be in a really dominant position. We'll net take 2 because Tolsimir will gain us 3 and Chandra will deal 5 to us, so we'd be on 13, but that's totally acceptable with a board like that. If we don't draw land, we're still fine. We play the Cavalier or Vannifar, probably Vannifar, and just go about our business. I like the idea of getting the Vannifar, the Chandra off the board in one clean turn. I wonder what opponent's thinking about. With 1 mana, we haven't taken damage this turn, so they don't have Spectacle, so it can only be a shock. They can't have Skewer or light up the stage, and shock isn't good here, so maybe they're not thinking at all. Maybe they're, you know, answering the door or making toast or whatever. Either way, they're taking their sweet time, and it's a little bit boring. Apologies for this. Hopefully the pace will pick up a minute and we can give you some decent content instead of you just watching me complain. For any people watching this channel that like complaining, you should, you know, put seatbelts on your ears, because they're going to get the ride of their life listening to me. I do love a moan. I think opponents, we're going to get the turn passed to us automatically at this point, so hopefully we can get on with things. That is not a land, but it is a card that Burn can't beat, so that's fine. I'm just going to... I'm going to ignore Chandra and attack the opponent. I'd rather kill Chandra in one go. We'll play the Shalai. It's real hard for them to beat. Protects the Deputy. Protects us from direct burn. It means they have to waste spells on Shalai. Opponent appears to have woken up, which is marvellous news.
It's you burning!
Firebrand is annoying because it's the 4th point, so they can Lightning Strike plus Firebrand out Shalai or something like that. They don't appear to have it, which is great. Oh, this is lovely. And Tolsimir, the Lava Runner. If I was them, I'd scoop at this point, but they might be, you know, more proud. And send everything at Chandra. Chandra will die. We'll take some damages, but it doesn't matter. They can trade with our Fibblethip. Again, doesn't matter. I don't think they have any better moves. That still sees Chandra take... That seems like a horrible block. That still sees Chandra take lethal. Yeah, I don't know what they're thinking, blocking the Bugler, of all things. Oh well.
This is a
Very
waste
weird.
of my time.
Maybe they miscounted. I think we've got an unassailable lead, which is nice. Yay, I feel like a genius. So there you go. We got 2 wins, 3 defeats. We had a lot of fun. And that is basically the Bant Vannifar experience. I hope you enjoyed it.